can tune in then, 10 to 9, 10 to 9 tomorrow. Otherwise, look at the Amud Aleph for tomorrow's daf. We're gonna do that. So tonight, hopefully. Yeah. Anyways, so we're up to the Mishnah, right? On Mem Hey Amud Aleph?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're finally getting into all the dinim. We're finally getting into all the dinim of the end of the Nazir, the standard halachas at the end of the Nazir. So tonight's daf, Amud Aleph, is going to be what order of the behemoth, not what order, but you have to bring the 3 karbanos. The Nazir has to bring the 3 karbanos. Are all 3 ma'akiv? Is only one? Does he have to do one and then cut the hair? When exactly cut the hair? How does he cut the hair? Where does he cut the hair? Right, that's on Amud Aleph, and Amud Beis is a continuation of how exactly you cut the hair, right? And then because he has to put it under a pot, of that he's cooking the shlomim, right? And then tomorrow's daf is also continues on how he cooks it and when exactly it kicks in that he's allowed to start taking haircuts. That's basically an overview of tonight's daf. Not too difficult to daf, Baruch Hashem. Anyways, Zog the Mishnah. Tiglachas Hatara. Okay, so meaning yesterday's Mishnah was about Tiglachas Hatuma, meaning when a Nazir becomes Tameh, when does he have to take the haircuts, right? Tonight is talking about the Tiglachas Tahara, meaning after his 30 days and he has to take a haircut. So, Ketzah, how does that work? Oh, yeah, maybe Gimel Behemoths. He has to bring 3 behemoths. Chatas, Oila, Ushlamim. Right, that we had many times. He has to bring 3 different karbanos. It's not cheap. It's not cheap to be a Nazir. Right? And what he does is he shechs the shlamim first, and then he takes the haircut after he brings the shlamim, right? And then he takes the haircut to Rabbi Yehuda. We'll see in the next Mishnah or the Mishnah after that, once he takes the haircut, what he's allowed to do, what he's not allowed to do. But the bottom line is he brings the korban shlamim first to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Lazar disagrees. He says, no, you had to bring the korban chatos first. Because the chatos is a more chashuva korban. So the chatos always comes first. So therefore, you bring the chatos and then you take the haircut. Meaning they both hold that after the first animal is brought, the Nazir takes the haircut or shaves. The only question is which korban comes first, right? Rabbi Yehuda holds the first korban is shlamim. Rabbi Lazar holds the first korban is chatos. Vim gilach al achas mishlashtan yatza. But of course, if he takes a haircut and or he shaves on any one of the 3 korbanos, then he is yatza. Now this is a new thing. It's normally Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Aimer usually means that he's disagreeing with something that was just previously said. That's not what it means here. Here it's a new thing, right? So Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Aimer, he says that normally when you bring a korban, if you don't specify what the korban is for, so it doesn't become hektish. Meaning you just say this animal is going to be a korban, and you don't specify which one it is, so then it's nothing. But here, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel is saying is that if he says brings the 3 behemoths and he doesn't say which is which, so each one gets its defined korban, meaning chatos, asham, and shlamim have 3 different requirements. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, heavy gimel behemoths, v'lai pirish, and he didn't say which one is which. So haruya lechatos tikarav chatos. The one that's right to be a chatos should be the chatos. La'ila tikarav ayla. The one that's an ayla is going to be an ayla, and l'shlamim tikarav shlamim. When the one that's supposed to be a shlamim brings a shlamim. What are the 3 again? One is a lamb, one is a ram, one is a lamb, one is a sheep. That's the same thing. I don't remember which is which. One's a ram. Rachamim, this is your department. One is a ram, one is a goat, and one is a sheep. I think so. I'm not remembering which one is which. But okay, meaning each one has its own defined thing. So it's like as if he said, "Oh, the ram is for this, and the sheep is for this, and the goat is for this." Yeah. Okay. So that's a mission. So Tana Rabbanan. V'gilach ha-nazir pesach oil mayit. So the pasuk says that the nazir has to shave at the opening of the oil mayit. Now that means, sounds like from the pasuk, the reading of the pasuk, right, is that he has to take the haircut at the door of the oil moed. So b'shlama goes medaber. I'm sorry. So b'shlama goes medaber. That's not what it means. What it means is that he takes the haircut when he does the shlom. Right? We learned in Mishnah Machlokes when he takes the haircut, either by the shlom or by the chatos. So this is how we know that it's by the shlomim, because when it says he takes the haircut Pesach Hayal Mayit, what it means is that's a reference to the shlomim. It does not mean that he takes a haircut by the door of the Hayal Mayit, because that would be a bizayin, as the Gemara is about to say. It means it's just a nickname, let's call it that, for a shlomim, because the shlomim it also says that you shecht it by the Hayal Mayit. Right, so b'shalom kasim adam shenem b'shachtu Pesach Oyel Moed. He shefts the shalom at the Pesach Oyel Moed. So again, the reason why we know that a shalom gets shefted by the Pesach of the Oyel, that the shalom is the first animal to be shefted, because it says the Nazir shefts by the Pesach Oyel Moed, which does not mean the place where you have to take the haircut. Right, it's referring to the shalom. So when it says atar b'shalom kasim adam. Do you mean to say that this is talking about the korban shlom? That's when you do the shaving, or does it mean the actual that the pasuk, the way to read the pasuk, which sounds like that, we're telling you where in the Beis Hamikdash the Nazir is supposed to shave? So Amrit, the Gemara says, so we say it can't be that it's saying that he should. Barbershop, right? Do I keep freezing?
Yes. Just now, it started a minute ago.
The internet is a little schwach. Still choppy?
No, now you're good. You're back. I see you moving. Yeah, you're moving. Yeah, you're good.
But Yaakov, are you upstate really?
I'm in Eretz Yisrael. I'm in the real state. You're saying upstate. That's you saying, yeah, well, internet in the real state. You know what? Give me a minute, because my son is up. I think he's doing college work. I think he's streaming. So let me see if that's slowing it up. Hold on a minute. But I'm high. Figure that out. So 1 sec or a minute.
Is Stolberg still there?
I'm still here.
Yeah.
My internet is perfectly fine.
Donnie Kramer and I was schmoozing, and he said he'd like to say hello to Jakob Stolberg and Bing.
I don't know how his internet is doing though. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, if you have his number, I would appreciate it.
I'll give it to you afterwards, Rachman. Just stay on there after the daf.
I did it on the chat, meeting chat, something like that.
For those who remember Chaya Bracha from Shariashiv, she could use some tefillah. She just had surgery on her eye and a hip replacement from a fall.
What was the name?
Chaya Bracha, the old cook from Shariashiv.
Chaya Bracha of Goldfin.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. Where's she living now?
Baltimore.
Oh. What's her mother's name?
That I don't have at the moment. I could always ask my Tante Mindy. She's the one that's in touch with her.
Great. She should have a foolish name.
Bang.
By the end of the Rashi, the last Rashi on the Mishnah describes which the Chatas and the Shlomim and the Oila. I can't take over the shear. That's what I did in Shor Yashuv. Are you gonna eat your dog up? No. Thanks.
That's good for me. I don't know what to try.
Leonard, you want to just fly down to Israel?
I do. I'm still regretting I didn't go.
That's the last time you followed Yaakov to Israel, you brought back coronavirus.
I did. I didn't bring it. Okay.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I try out the pause feature on the recording and see what happens.
Always got to
Never
try
tried
something.
it yet. I never tried
Yeah,
it.
so go for it.
Yes, says the man who's not going to have to edit in and splurge two videos together.
Do it.
The
Okay,
box
fine.
closer. Probably will apologize about that. Try to move the box a little closer. Okay. Sorry. Any big discoveries while I was gone? The Chaya Bracha part I heard, I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, she should have it for Shalem. Okay, so anyway, so that's the first sheet is that you do the Korban Shalom first because it says Pesach Hayal Moed, and it can't come to mean literal that you do it by the Pesach Hayal Moed because it's a bizayon to be taking haircuts in the middle of Beis Hamikdash. Okay, so that's first sheet. Rabbi Yoshi Amar, Rabbi Yoshi Aimer, right? That's, you see it. It's let's just make sure we're all on the same page here. 5 lines down. Yeah, Rabbi Yoshi Aimer, Einot Tzarech. You don't need. It's an interesting thing what this Einot Tzarech is. You don't need what? All right, meaning it's a svara. What do we say? Why can't you take it? Why can't it mean literal that you take the haircut by the Pesach Hayal Moed? Because it's a bizayon. So Rabbi Yoshi says, Einot Tzarech. You don't need it. You don't need what? You don't need the svara, right? So, so basically, what it seems like he's saying is that we know it from someplace else. Why you're not allowed to? Why you would not be able to take a haircut? Why? Right? It's you're not allowed to put steps on the mizbeach. Right? The mizbeach had a ramp. Famous psukim that you shouldn't use a ramp. Why? Because when you go up a ramp, you should only use a ramp, not steps. Because when you go up the steps, so that spreads the legs apart, and then the floor of the mizbeach, which is kaddish, will see the aver, even though the kohen was wearing underwear, but still, because the whole concept is not correct, right? So it's a bizayon. So kal v'chomer l'derech bizayon. So if that's not even a bizayon, and you're not supposed to do it because it's not considered respectful, so kal v'chomer for derech bizayon. Right? So kal v'chomer that to do something that is a bizayon, to lechatchila take a haircut in the Beis Hamikdash, that for sure you're not allowed to do.
What did you mean that Cohen wears underwear? Was this the fifth? That's Maruba Begadim.
What? I didn't mean underwear. I meant pants. I meant he went pants. I meant he wore pants. I didn't mean underwear. That's what I meant. I meant he wore. Well, I was thinking
pants.
I was thinking the Rabbeinu Tam underwear.
I always think very
That's what it looks like.
Very Hasidic.
Yes, right. That's what it looks like in the pictures.
Under the pictures, but they had a fit right. They had a fit for each person. So
Yeah.
It's Yaakov. Isn't it kal v'chomer a svar also? I find that a funny lesson in general. Isn't it kal v'chomer a svar be a side?
Yes, yeah, 100%. I didn't clearly. I'm not that I clearly understand anything else.
Is it
but
better
this-
because it's based on Be'etzem Adin? I'm saying, is it like a Svara Midin? Meaning a
I don't-
Stama Svara is not like necessarily something that has a basis to it. Here it's a Svara grounded in the din that you see from someone that's more kal.
Right. I don't know. I don't. I also don't know the svara. What do you mean the svara? One is a bizayin mamish, right? To see the man's private parts is a bizayin mamish. What taking a haircut is more of a bizayin than that.
Well, you don't really see anything, like you just said. They're wearing pants, and Taisa
But
says
whatever
because you're going to do the avodah, it's not. Taisa says like a kat
Right.
bizayin. So
Correct.
Taisa does say there's a difference. Here,
Right.
there's no avodah. You're just, you're shaving in front of somebody's head. I don't know. Is that considered part of the avodah?
Right. So that's what I think. That's what I think the Kal V'Chomer is. That the Kal V'Chomer is not pshat that it's worse. I don't know which one's worse, to take a haircut or to show the private parts to the floor of the mizbeach. But one is on a mamish and avodah. The Nazir is not. At least it's not a chiyuv as part of the. I mean, if there's no Nazirim, they're not going to run and try and find a Nazir to make sure they have a Nazir in the Beis HaMikdash, right? It happens to be, if there's a Nazir, he has to do this. Mashen came the regular Avodah, the Beis HaMikdash, is a chiyuv, and they were worried about it, right? Okay, Nusach, this I don't think this is too common in Shas. This what's in the brackets here. Right, Nusach Rina b'Medrash Parshas Nasai, right? And what do you call it? Daf Reish Mem Beis. That's what that stands for. At least according to Art Scroll, that's what that stands for. Right? That's a fascinating thing here. Yeah. Anybody remember anything like that in Shas? Ever having anything like that? Yeah. But anyway, so it says Begila Hanazir Rav Yoshi Omer Bishlam Makosim Davar Yeina Ella. Meaning the same Gemara. In Kacham the Torah Laisala. Right, the Torah says don't use steps. Okay, that's just a repeat. All right, a second shot and a third shot. I'm sorry. Right, you don't need anything to tell you that you shouldn't take the haircut because right, so one of the things that you do with the hair of the nazir when you shave it is you put it onto the fire. What you do is you take the hair and put it in the fire. So it means, what do you have to do? You have to take it and put it. Right? It's only missing the taking and the putting into the fire. If he is going to have to cut the hair by the Pesach of the Oyel Moed, right? Then there was a lishka. There was a room called the lishka for the Nazir. So basically, what he'd have to do, if you take the pasuk literally, he's going to have to cut his hair by the opening of the Oyel Moed. Then he's going to have to carry the hair to his Nazir room, the special room for the Nazir. Then he's going to have to take the hair, and then he's going to have to put it into the fire. So you're adding one more step if you have to walk with it to the Nazir room. So therefore, it can't be that Pesach HaMoed is meant to be literal, right? Again, the pasuk says v'lokach b'nasan. It doesn't say that he has to bring it. Right, so therefore, it must be that he has to cut his hair right next to the fire, which is not going to be by the Pesach HaMoed. It's going to be in the Nazir room. So therefore, it can't mean that he takes the haircut by the Pesach HaMoed, because then it means he's going to have to carry it, which the pasuk doesn't say. And again, that's only if somebody's missing the taking and the putting it. It would be missing the taking the hair, the carrying the hair, and the putting the hair. There's another way of learning this. Old Gemara Rav Yitzchak says that it's talking about a shlamim, right? Meaning Pesach Oyel Moed is referring to shlamim. Ata Omer b'shlamim makaz medaber and el Pesach Oyel Moed, or is it only referring to the opening Oyel Moed? Talmud Laimar v'lokach es sa'ar rosh nizroi, and he takes the hair of the rosh of the nezer. Makom shehayim avashel sham hayim agalech. Wherever he's cooking the shlamim, that's where he shaves, right? And the shlamim is being cooked in the lishkas on the zirim. So therefore, he has to take the haircut right next to the pot. Meaning the hair needs to be fresh when it's being put under the fire. It needs to be fresh. Okay, fine. Abba Chanan, I'm Eliezer. Gilach Nazir Pesach Hayel Moed, and he takes the haircut of this one. Calls man she'ain Pesach Hayel Moed, Pesuah and Megalech. He learns a different thing. Anytime the Pesach of the Hayel Moed is closed, the Nazir cannot take a haircut. When is the Pesach of the Hayel Moed closed? At night. Right? It's not a Pesach Mikdash is not a shtiglach where it's open the whole night and come do whatever you want. You have to actually stick to some sort of zman, right? So you close, once they close the last, you have the Tamid Shel Ben Rabbayim, right? And that's it. That closes up shop for the night. And they close the Beis HaMikdash. So when it means that he does it when the oil bayit is open, doesn't mean that he has to do it by the opening of the oil bayit. He has to do it when the Beis HaMikdash is open, which is during the day. So he's learning out very simple. The Nazir has to cut his hair during the day. Rav Shimon Shazuri, I remember he has a total different shot. The pasuk says the Nazir takes a haircut, the loy Nazira, not a female Nazir. Meaning a female Nazir is going to actually have to uncover her hair, right? So that's not tznius. So only the male Nazir has to cut his hair at the Pesach Hayel. So he's clearly holding that he does do it in the Pesach Hayel, right? I mean, that's clearly, but that's what it seems. But what we're learning out of the pasuk is that the woman does not. The woman shaves at home. Why? On Talmud Beis now. Shema Yizkaru ba Pirchei Kahuna, because the Pirchei Kahuna, the young Kohanim that are running around, are going to get turned on because they're seeing this woman's hair, right? And that's going to cause the young. Now, it's interesting that it says the young Kohanim and the old Kohanim not, right?
You know, the old Kohanim are over the hill already.
No, that's an interesting thing.
I was going to say we have an expiration date, but okay, if the Rachman said it would be.
No, but I'm saying, does that mean that older people are allowed to look at priestess? Is that what this is saying? I don't know.
Maybe it's assuming that they attained that level of kedusha.
Could be, but it doesn't say that the holy Kohanim. It just says older, right?
Don't you become a Nazir? Isn't Nazir after something because someone saw
The site.
something also not serious?
You saw the Saita, right?
There was also something not sneezing, right?
Yeah. So I'm saying, I don't know. So what do you say with that?
I don't know, just a big circle of it, you know.
No, Sota is something different too. She was nichshad. Doesn't mean that she actually did the aver. She was nichshad in the aver. Maybe that's what's.
Yeah, that's not the point.
That's
They
not what
do
I'm
it in
saying.
public so people see.
Right.
Right.
And then you become a Nazir because you saw it.
What does Villa Yiskaruba mean?
It seems to be that it'll turn them on.
Oh, I thought it was they won't make fun of her.
What?
From like Goyarim boy. Well, Yiskaruba is Aramaic for making fun of, no?
Yeah. I don't know. No,
What does the art scroll touch it as?
Yiskaruba usually means that it's gonna overpower them or something like that, right? I think.
Yeah, but I think here it's the other way around. Shema Yiskaruba, they'll overpower her.
Art scroll says aroused.
Didn't we have that that being bald is like something for the husband, not attractive?
Right? Yeah, that's true. That's
Okay,
a
so
good
you
point.
could say that the more older Kohanim realize that there's an end, so they know. Yeah, maybe you see the person with the hair when they uncover it, but they know in the end you're going to be bald, and you know what I mean.
I hear. Okay, you want to say like that? Okay, interesting. Maybe that's a shot.
I mean, what you mean if you're not a Cohen, it doesn't apply?
No, if you're young,
you
say young is stupid. You know what I mean? They can't see the whole thing. You know, they're all excited. They're getting married. You know what I mean? Like,
well, this is them.
They don't see the large picture.
Right. I hear. But we'll see. Very interesting. I find this Gemara very interesting.
But
the next line.
The Rush does say, I don't know if this is similar to what Gershon said, but the Rush does say that according to Shita, she doesn't shave her head at all.
Correct. I was about to say.
So maybe that means Shali's Garba that she shouldn't be embarrassed that there's, or I don't know. It's still because of the tznius that
Right.
you don't stay in front of the mud.
Right, that's true. But so what Akiva said is very important though. Does a Nazir even shave her head? Does a female Nazir even shave her head? That's a machlokes. Taisa says that she does shave her head, just not in the Oil Moed. The Rush says she doesn't shave it. The pasuk's telling you she doesn't shave her head at all. Only male Nazir shaves the head. Right, not the female Nazir. But anyways, let's see.
Everything else is the same. She brings the karbanos. Everything else is the same.
Yes, yeah, I think so. We're going to see in tomorrow's daf or the next day's daf that the kohen has to put his hands under the Nazir's hands and wave. Right, he has to wave the karbanos. So that's a different Gemara how he does that with a lady. Right, but that's not Gemara here. But anyways, so according to you, a saita should prove it. Right, a saita. We stand there in front of Hashem, meeting in the Beis HaMikdash in public, and then they tear her clothing and they take off her hair. That's how we know the woman has to cover her hair from saita. Right, and the Gemara should know it from Nazir too. So there, how come we're not worried? How come they were not worried that the Pirchei Kahuna are going to get turned on when they uncover the woman's hair? So I believe this is a major yisoid for Shalom Bayis, this next line, and Stam in the area of Pritzis. Amr Lahen, Zu Kecheles Bekeses, Zu Ena Kecheles Bekeses. This one puts on makeup, right? Meaning the Nazira is allowed to wear makeup. So it's more of a turn on to the men. Zu Ena Kecheles Bekeses, but the Saita is not allowed to wear makeup. Right? The Saita is bedafka made to look ugly. Right? So Memela, since they're doing that, nobody's getting turned on from seeing the Saita's hair because she's not made up. But if she's made up, so then that's more of a chance. So there's a couple of things to learn out from this. A, that makeup is a thing, right? And it can turn on men, right? So in a way you could say, okay, so then all the kanoim are right. The women have to be so worried about men looking at them. That's one way. But then the other way is like this. If it was me running the Beis HaMikdash and we needed the Nazir's hair to be uncovered, I'd say, okay, honey, do not wear makeup to the Beis HaMikdash. Right? Stam, I would say that. First of all, what woman is wearing makeup to the Beis? You're getting dressed up to come to the Beis HaMikdash to have your hair shaved. That's what you want to do? So Elamai, we don't say that to the woman. It was not an option in the Gemara. I would have said, if you asked me, Baruch Hashem, nobody's asking me. I'll let Suffolk man is, but nobody else, right? Even though Troublemaker just texted me. So I'm just throwing that out. I have a guy named Troublemaker. I don't know what he made trouble about, but he once made trouble. So, but anyway.
It's only this story, though, that they all yell at women. That's because they're too scared to yell at the real things.
So I don't know. But I'm just saying that if there was no option here to say, I would say, just don't wear makeup. I would say that lechatchila not to wear makeup to the Beis. You're going to go to the Beis HaMikdash and be nichshol men, right? But that wasn't an option. Why? Because a woman needs these things. You can't take away the essence. I don't know if it's the essence of a woman, but something that a woman needs. You can't do it. They're entitled. I'm walking around in what?
It's a derisa.
Sounds like I don't know if we could say that stretch, but
that's what he's saying.
It's doicha derisa. It's doicha even a derisa. That's really what you're saying. No,
there is no derisa for a woman to. Well, a man has to shave his head in Pesach HaLoyah. The woman doesn't. Shema Yiskaru.
Right,
that's a derisa.
Right, but according to the way Tysus is understanding it, really the woman's supposed to shave her head. She doesn't shave her head. Why? Because it may turn on the men. Why? Because she's wearing makeup. So that comes out that makeup is more important than keeping a deraisa of shaving the hair. Am I krum for that? Are you muted, Gershon, if you're talking?
I think parrots did that. I'm saying it's more than that. The pasuk is saying, Gufa, that the woman either, according to the Rush, doesn't shave, or according to the Taisus, shave somewhere private because of this. This is correct. The drasha.
Correct.
The
But
drasha
you're not
is Shema Yizkaru.
right, but you're not. But there's a pasha that hates it to do it the way the Torah says to do it. Don't wear makeup.
I'm putting that into the drasha.
Okay,
the
whatever
drasha
it is.
is bedavka not.
Okay, whatever it is. But
Also,
the point is
this
that it's. I'm just saying. I'm walking on Meir Shom. We got these big signs. Only come tznius, which I guess tznius is not is a proper thing to do. But one has to know where to draw the line. You know what I mean? Anyways, yeah.
is this Gemara a raya that Sar Be'ishal Lav Erva?
Why would it be
Fair,
lav
fair.
ever? Because otherwise,
If it was Erva, let it just say that. It's Shema Yizkaru. It's Erva.
I thought about that actually too. Right? Why don't we just say it's also for everybody to see the hair? LMI, you're going to say that the mitzvah of cutting the hair is daicha, the isser of uncovered hair. That's what you have to say.
If it's Erva, that would be an issue, though. You don't
But
have
how
to
you
do
understand
it
it by
by
sight?
Erva.
How do you understand it by sight?
It's not Erva. It's
But that's what we
tznius.
use.
It's not Erva.
But from sight, we learn that it is.
No, from Saita we learned that it has to be covered. The question is
Correct.
why? Is it Sar Be'ishal Erva or is it tznius?
Yeah. Oh, you're saying it's that? Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not Erva. It's
Yeah.
clear from here. It's not Erva. Otherwise, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. I hear you. Anyways, okay, whatever it is. So that's the interesting Gemara. Fine. Zok the Mishnah weiter. As we continue, right? You take the hair of the Nazir, and you put it under the dud, means the pot, right? That's meaning they what happens is they took the shlom meat, we'll see in the next Mishnah, and they cooked it. So in the pot that they're cooking the meat, he's supposed to cut his hair and then put the hair under the pot. Vim gila Medina. And let's say he took the haircut in the Medina, meaning outside of Yerushalayim. Then he would not put it under the dud, right? Because like we said, he's supposed to really not bring it from anywhere far away, right? So therefore it should be done as close to the pot as possible. So if he took the haircut in Medina, then he should not bring his hair with him and then put it under the pot. But that's only talking about by after his 30 days. But where he's cutting for Tuma, he would not put his hair under the dud, meaning only by a tahira does the Nazir take the cut hair and put it in the fire, right? But not by a tiglachas Tuma. Remeir Aimer, no, Hakol Mashav Tachas Dud, everybody, Tamei Tar, all put the hair under the pot, Medina Bilvad, except for the Tamei that's in the Medina, meaning he's disagreeing on a couple of points. One, he's saying that the Tamei does put his hair in the fire, and he's also saying that even if a Tahar who cuts his hair outside of Yerushalayim will also should bring his hair. The only one that shouldn't is a Tamei who cuts his hair outside Yerushalayim. Right? That's the Rameir Shita. So basically we have a machlokes over in the Mishnah over whether a Tamei even cuts hair in the first place, and whether a Tahar is supposed to, if he cuts his hair outside of Yerushalayim, whether he's supposed to bring his hair and put it under the fire, in the fire, right? Okay, so Zok the Gemara, Noitel Sar Rosh Nizra. It says that he has to take the hair of the Nazir. Paris, here goes a good recipe for meat. So Tanur Rabbanan, right? He's got to take.
You know what hair smells like when it's burning. It's gefährlich. It's gefährlich. You know, it really stinks. You know, it's very bad.
So maybe that's a pshat. I don't know. So anyway, so after that, he takes the roitiv. He takes some juices from the meat from the shlamim. And then he puts it with the hair of the Nazir, and he puts it under the pot that's cooking the shlamim. Right? So he's got to mix it with some gravy. That's it. So that's it. So you got to do it with gravy. Then it says that if you put it under the pot of the chatas and the asham, then he's yaitza. So the Gemara says, asham ben Nazir tar miiko. Who's bringing an asham? He brings a chatas, a shlamim, and a oila. What are you talking about that are asham? So Rav Hachikamar, Vim Nazir Tameh Mishaleach Tachas Adud Shel Asham. If the Nazir Tameh, because the Nazir Tameh has to bring an asham because he did something wrong, right? He became Tameh. An asham is a similar to a chatas. When you do something wrong, so you have to bring an asham, right? So if the Nazir Tameh puts it under the asham, which is again the asham is not really a Nazir carbon, it's a tuma, it's a Nazir tuma Tameh carbon, but yatsa is yatsa, right? How do we know that you put on the roitiv of the meat with the hair? It says under the carbon of the shlamim. From the carbon should be under it, meaning you want to take something from the carbon, mix it with the hair, put that into the fire. Right? Now, okay, so why does it mean meat? Why not meat? It says take something from the carbon, mix it with the hair, put it under the pot. Right? So we say we take the gravy, not the meat, right? Because meat, you're not allowed to burn. Right? Meat, edible meat has to be eaten. You can't go put it in the fire, right? Unless you're going to barbecue it. I don't know. And then eat it that way. But you're not allowed to just destroy it. So therefore, it has to be something from the carbon, which means you take the roitiv. Right?
Is this roitiv though synonymous with mail?
I don't know. I don't know what the difference is between the two.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. So then I'm going to ask, and if he puts it under the under the pot, right? If he puts it under the dud of the chatas, he's yotz in my time. Why is he yotz? Across zevach, the rabbi says chatas lashon because it says the lashon zevach as a carbon comes to include even if he puts the hair under the chatas and the lashon. So Gemara says, "Well, afiktei lahai zevach mi right." Didn't we use the lashon of zevach that he has to take from the carbon to put it with the hair? How can you now learn that word zevach to tell you that it means also the chatas and the lashon? Right? Meaning you can only learn out one word from one drasha from one word. You cannot learn two. Right now, the Gemara is learning two. From zevach, we're learning that you should take the roitiv and mix it with the hair. That's one. And now we're saying that and the zevach is telling you that even it even works for chatas and asham. So the Gemara says no, because we have a double way to learn. Why doesn't the pasuk just say take some roitiv from the shlamim and put it with the hair under the pot? My zevach, shmam. You know the rabbis chatas v'asham, so therefore it's coming to include two things. So I'm going to ask, why don't we say that just the whole pasuk is coming for chatas and asham, meaning the whole diak, and maybe leave out right? So when it says imkain lema shlamim v'zevach, right? Then say for the shlamim and zevach, my zevach hashlamim, shmam notarti. We learn this too. I put in my father's rule with this, which is we can't understand drushes and go weiter. Right, because I'm saying I don't know when. Rachman, I'm sure you're familiar with that one. But I'm saying I don't know when you could darshan this way, that way. It's very hard to understand. It's you have to say that it's like.
This is the hay, the zevach hashlamim. It's the hay hayidiyah. Yeah, so correct. The zevach has to be connected to the shlamim. If it didn't want to connect it, would have said shlamim v'zevach.
Right. Yeah, correct. But then what the Gemara says, roitiv hashlamim. I mean, that's what it should have said, roitiv.
Right? It has to have something to do with the shlamim. It can't be.
What Zviaka was saying is we're moving on.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. So Torah Rabbana, Hakol Hoyu Mishav Tachas Adud. Everything, all I'm saying not everything. All Nazirs would put their hair under the dud. Chutz mitamei shegilap in Medina, except for a tamei. Right, this is the end of the Mishnah Rameir. Except for a tamei who shaves in the Medina. Nikfar, because his hair gets buried, right? So since they bury the guy that takes his haircut in the Medina, his hair gets buried. So obviously you don't bring it and put in. They put it in there. Now it's interesting. Taisus, if you look at Taisus, chutz min atame, says that it's tzarich and how do we know it gets buried? Right? It's tzarich ian. How do you know the hair gets buried? But anyway, fine. And then Mishmei
But
Shasari
see,
Nicholas
I
says,
brought
yeah.
down a different part of the article. One of the notes that Nazir's hair is Asher Barna. So l'chayra, that might be pshat why it needs to be buried. Stop! It needs to be buried.
Who says this?
It's brought down from, like, I think a Gemara in Kedushin.
Yes, it's from the Nikvarim, right? There's different things that need to be burned that can be buried. So you're saying that this is one of the, this is also also gets buried. It's okay. Because you have some Yisrael I know that
Isn't
get
that from
burned.
this week's parsha?
I don't know. I'm not. Where are we holding this week's parsha?
Moshe Rabbeinu did with the Egel or something that he. What you do with the Israel? No, that we learned it out from there.
I don't know.
He grinded it up.
Basa v'cholov has to be his din and nikvar.
Yeah, anything that's
sure
It's a machlokes tanoim. It's a
right, but they're not a question.
Which is more common, nisrafim or nikbar?
Right.
It's machlokes rishonim. Which way we paskin?
Yeah, taka. Right. That's what it is. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so he's saying it's supposed to be buried. Divrei Meir. Yudaim taharim. It's tahar. Taharim kan v'kan hayim shapim. The nazir that's tahar. Whether he cuts his hair in Yerushalayim or in the Medina, he puts his hair under. They would send their hair to the Beis Hamikdash. Tameim kan v'kan lo hayim shapim. If they're tamei nazir, whether no matter where he takes the haircut, he doesn't send it. None of everybody would not put their hair under the dud. The only one that does it, if he takes his haircut in the Beis Mikdash, then he's the one that puts it, because he's doing it exactly as he's supposed to do. Meaning only the Chacham are the most strict. They say no, the only one Nazir, puts the hair under the pot, and that's the guy who keeps the halacha correctly. Fine. Let's do a little bit more because anyways, it's a short daf, but fine. Zok the Mishnah. He would either cook the shlamim or shulkin. Shulkin means like to boil it, overcook it. Right? That's what he'd have to do. Hakayin naitala sazraya b'sheila min ha'ayil. And what the kohen would then do, the kohen would take the zraya, which is the arm, which is cooked, right, from the ayil, from the ram, right? Then he would take v'chala matzah achas min asal u'rekike matzah achas. He would take one challah. Again, we said that the Nazir has to bake 10 loaves of chametz bread and 10 loaves of matzah. That's not chametz. And he would take one of each, right? V'chala matzah achas min asal from this basket, u'rakik matzah achas, and I'm sorry, they're both not challah here. One is a matzah and one is I don't know exactly, a lafa, whatever. Yeah, one is more like bread and one is more like a matzah. B'naisan al kapei nazir amanif, and then he would put it on the hands, on the palms of the nazir, and he would wave them. After this happens, so again, let's go with the order. So the shlomim gets shechted, then they cut the hair, right? Then they put the hair under the fire with some gravy. Then they take the cooked zraya, the cooked arm, the right arm, leg, whatever it means arm, but the right front leg of the animal, of the ayil. And then he takes one matzah, one bread, and puts this whole thing on the palms of the nazir and waves it up and down. Then after that happens, then he's free to run. He can knock himself out, let it all hang loose, right? He could take, there's nothing to hang loose. The hair is shaved, but then he can go drink wine and become tummy mace on Tamid Aleph. Shimon says, since he disagrees, he says once they throw the blood, right after every carbon, they take the blood, they catch it from the shechita, then they go sprinkle it on the mizbeach. That's normally, that point, usually that means that your carbon is considered brought once the blood gets on the mizbeach. So Shimon says, once they do this rik on the mizbeach, which is obviously way before the previous opinion from the Mishnah, right? Because that happens right away, right after the shechita. This other stuff, after it's cooked and the haircut, etc. But the Ranazir lishtis b'yanul tamid, and that's when it becomes mutter. Right? So he has it at a much earlier stage than the other shitas. Fine. Tana Rabbana.
Is the Nazir there when it's happening or no?
The shchita, I don't know. He's got to be there relatively soon after the shchita, I would think. I don't know what the time.
It says we're putting it on the palms of his hands and all of that. So
yeah, but that's after he cooks it. He has to first they have to chef it. Then they got to give him the meat. They got to split up the animal. They got to put the meat that goes on the mizbeach and the blood on the mizbeach. Then they got to give him the meat. He's got to take it back to the Nazir room, cook it up.
And meanwhile, he's running to grab a drink and go do whatever to be the tummy mace.
Could be that according to Reb Shimon, yes. Listen, he's really, he's trying to get out of jail. Well, drinking in the Beis Hamikdash, you're right. You can't drink in the Beis Hamikdash, so, unless it's only a kohen that can't drink in the Beis Hamikdash. Maybe a Nazir could. I don't know. But that, yeah.
According to Reb Shimon, he doesn't do the whole waving thing.
No, he does. It's just at what point in the process does it become mutter for him to drink wine and become tummy?
It would seem to me that after the Shechita and Kabbalah Saddam, Halichas Saddam, and Zrikas Saddam, that's done right away in order that the halos of the korban takes effect. And there's other business of cutting it up. That's a longer process. But you want to get the dam onto the Mizbeach right away. You don't. Why should you? You want to do that right away so that it shouldn't wait. It shouldn't. I think that would come first before they decide which Cohen's getting the Zroya, which where they're cooking it up, and but you don't even know if you can eat it until the dam is nizrach. If it didn't do zrikas the dam, you didn't get to that point, then the korban's not mutter yet.
Right.
Let's say they didn't do zrikas dam, so then it's puzzle. You can cook all you want. It's puzzle then. So it's got to be the zrika beforehand.
Who's saying that the zrika is after the bishul? Of course, the zrika is before the bishul. Zrika is the first thing that happens. Eretz is a big fan of Reb Shimon. We do the Zrika. This guy goes home, eats the l'chaim, comes back for the carbon. 4 hours later, whenever. It's probably 10 hours later if it's braising.
Hope it's not too long.
Well, okay, yeah, I'm saying, but the point is not whether this has nothing to do with whether the korbanos are good. This is just a matter of, let's say the Nazir became tummy. Let's say that guy came in with a mace and it hit him. Does he have to start the Nazirus anew? So according to the first Shita, if the stuff wasn't waved and all that, then he's going to have to become a Nazir again. Mashenkin, according to this last opinion, according to Reb Shimon, once the blood was nizrak, his tumah is not going to be an issue. Right.
Well, drinking is not going to be mavatal. Only the tumah would. Drinking.
That's true. It's true, but it's going to go together. Once you're allowed to become tumah, you're certainly allowed to become.
No, I'm just saying if he drank, he would just keep going. No.
Yeah, that's true. The drinking wouldn't be enough kamina. Just whether he's like at malchus. Right. Anyway, so that's what the Gemara asks. If you remember, way back when. I'm sorry. Let's first see the Gemara. After that, the Nazir drinks wine. Achar ha-maisim kulam means after all the maisim, right? Then he's allowed to. Achar maisi yechidi. He says it's after one maisim, right? Meaning that's Reb Shimon. My tamayot the Rabbanon. Why did the Rabbanon say that it means after all the maisim, right? Because again, it's a lashon yachid. Achar. I don't know if it's a lashon yachid, whatever. Achar means after one ma'isa is what that's the way the Chacham are learning it, and Rabbi Eliezer is learning after all the ma'isa, right? So why the Rabbanan say it means one ma'isa? And after the Nazir drinks the wine, his galchay es nizrei, after he shaves his head for his naziris. So nizrei I'm sorry, achar his galchay es nizrei ma hasam achar ma'isa yechidi. After his haircut, he loses his naziris, meaning just like over there it means one ma'isa because it's referring to just haircuts. Afkan, so to here, but it talks about the karbanis, it means achar ma'isa yechidi, after one ma'isa, right? Which would mean the sprinkling of the blood. You don't need the cooking and the waving and all that stuff. It only means one ma'isa. So when it says me'ema adi ikut tarvayu, Who says that it means one Maisa? Maybe it means he takes the haircut and the karbanas. Who says it just means after the haircut? So what it says, and there's a very fascinating insight into what Gzeira Shava is. Okay, then what are you doing with the Gzeira Shava? Right, meaning comes out according to this that there was a Gzeira Shava. Right? It's almost like there's a pasuk. We got to learn something out of the pasuk. There's a Gzeira Shava. We have to do something with the Gzeira Shava. Meaning, a lot of times we look at Gzeira Shava as like, Anamira has a shot, and he says, we'll learn it out from this word compared to this word, and that's it. No, we know that Gzeira Shava has to be a Messiah from Moshe Sinai. Right, so it's almost like it's considered being written in the Torah. So here the Gemara is saying, but we have a Gzeira Shava, we have to use it for something, right? So that's
not only that. There's three possibilities here. These are two psukim right next to each other. So you go for a smichas to a hakish to a Gzeira Shava. We went all the way up the chain of command to a Gzeira Shava.
Yeah. Should we go a little weiter or should we stop over here? Okay, we could stop here because the next one is longer and it's already late. Kept Island late enough. Okay, so Be'ez Hashem Matzah Shabbos better same time, and then all right. Everybody should have themselves a fine day and a fine Shabbos.
What does that mean? Erev Shabbos, Motzei Shabbos. What does that mean?
Well, Erev Shabbos is before Shabbos, and Motzei Shabbos is after.
Give that boy smicha.
You have to say it in Yiddish.
So no share tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're not doing share tomorrow.
There's no Daf Yomi share, but like I said, if you want, then you could come to the morning call if you want.
Plug. We got a plug for the morning call.
That's
right.
right.
We said Shabbos 9 o'clock, right?
No, it's Shabbos 9 o'clock. Yeah. We change the clocks. That's really like 10 o'clock, right?
We change it later in
What
the
time
night.
is Shabbos over New York?
We change the clock later in the night. The clock is not changed until 2 becomes more.
Naftali, you're still losing an hour of sleep, Naftali.
Correct.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect the 9 o'clock Daf Yomi.
What?
No, but it doesn't affect the 9 o'clock Daf Yomi.
No, it doesn't. But it's if for you guys, it's as if we're starting Daf Yomi at 10. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
right?
Those grandpas on the shear who wanted to get an early night.
Right, or those that get up early, right? But I can't. I mean, what time is Shabbos over? And
Why does it work for you Sunday morning? No.
Me? Who knows what's going to be going on about the Shabbos? Listen, last night I almost called the shir for 6. I went to sleep at 1:45.
I texted you.
I didn't look at my WhatsApps yet. I was going to text you.
Because you're busy with annoying men and anxious men.
So you're right. It's true. Man. No, I always look at my WhatsApps. Don't really alert me well. That's why I tell people if they want to get a hold of me, don't WhatsApp me, text me. So because I have to go actively and look in the WhatsApps. So that's why they come last. So I didn't check those yet.
Shabbos is over at 7:10 over here. 7:09 is Rabbeinu Tam.
Okay, so we wouldn't start anyways till 7:45. So okay, well, let's kick it till 9 o'clock. I apologize, but if I happen to be up, I'll text
later. It's Shabbos. People take naps. People aren't going to sleep at 9. They're not tired.
But as it is 9 o'clock, we're starting at 10. It's really 10. It messes me up because
it's
now
still 9 o'clock for everybody.
It's Yaakov. The daf started at 9:45. That's the Messiah that we had originally.
Yeah, that's true. But once we did it earlier, we got a much bigger crowd. We got more people, Akiva. So clearly, the more people is a better thing, right? I'm assuming.
I'll cast my vote for the later time.
Depends with people.
Sorry, I love you to pieces, Elio, but you don't have a vote.
I know, but I voted.
He's still at work right now.
Why doesn't
they can get more sleep Sunday night? You're doing it early Sunday night.
Your attendance
record. I want to tell Naftali Landau that it's really 10 o'clock. So
hold on.
Come on, maybe.
Aaron?
Well, I said, Elio, your attendance record is tremendous, but you still don't get a vote, and you know that.
I know. But it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I can participate at least.
Right, okay, fine, you can participate, but we're not counting the ballot.
Why doesn't he why not?
Because he's on the West Coast.
He's not on the West Coast. He's way better than the West Coast.
Thank you.
I lived on the West Coast. The West Coast blows. He lives in one of my favorite places in the whole world.
There you go.
That's true.
Yeah,
He
tell that
doesn't
to
live on the West Coast. He's better, but he's on the same time zone as the West Coast.
No, I'm not.
Acher,
No, not right now.
No, he's not.
Nah.
Arizona was
I-
never.
Bottom line,
I
Jacob,
will
you
be
wanna
on
do
Sunday.
9:30 or 10 o'clock the Daf Moshe Shabbos?
Jacob, 9 o'clock's gonna be 3 o'clock in the morning for you.
No, why? No, it's 4. Still 4. They don't change here. No,
They
it's still gonna be
don't
4.
Right.
That's what's instead of landing at 6 in Newark on Monday, I'm landing at 7. It's a whole different thing. Traveling from Newark at 7 in the morning and traveling at 8:15 is a whole different animal. What?
Shoot, that's late.
Yes, correct.
What time are you landing in Newark?
7
But now
a.m.
instead of landing at 6, I'm landing at 7.
If it gets in about an hour early. My